Good evening. This is Ed Kriz, Chair of the Roseville Grants Advisory Commission. Welcome to the meeting of January 12th. Starting the meeting here this evening, where we're going to be going over it's a workshop for the actual grants cycle for the 2021-22 cycle. Okay, this is a call to order. So the first item we have is introduction of Tricia to the commission. Laura, is that something that you'll handle?
I think we need to do roll call.
Okay, I was just following the agenda here, but okay, we could do a roll call.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
Laura may be on a call, directing people to the meeting, so Ed, you might have to do the introduction.
Okay, why don't I go ahead and do that then? So tonight we have opportunity here to be able to have a new, Laura, are you back?
I am, and I was directing somebody to the website.
Okay.
So we are excited today. Thank you, Chair Chris. But I just wanted to take a minute out and introduce Tricia Isom as the commissioner and as the new staff liaison to the commission. Tricia has over 20 years of experience with the city of Roseville, and 16 of those years focused in housing, including working with the Housing Choice Voucher Rental Assistance, the CDVG program, as well as working with affordable housing developers and homelessness and rapid rehousing efforts within the Roseville community. And in addition to that, she works on a daily basis with our nonprofits. Tricia is transitioning this year and taking on the role as staff liaison to the Grants Advisory Commission. The commission, I believe, will be in good hands as Tricia is assuming this role, and she looks forward to working with you all on this year's grant funding cycle. So please welcome Tricia Isom as the grants liaison.
All right. Welcome. Thank you. And love having you on board and the support that you provided for us up to this point. We're in capable and competent hands. So thank you, Laura, for your transition, helping us through this time. And Tricia, we look forward to working with you in the future. Okay, now we can do our roll call. So, is that you?
You're muted, Melissa.
The bane of Zoom calls, you're muted.
Melissa?
Let's start again.
There we go.
Here we go. Commissioner Flynn?
Here.
Commissioner Haywood?
Here.
Commissioner Liss?
Present.
Vice Chair Carroll?
Here.
Chair Kriz?
Here.
Commissioner Gibson?
Here.
Commissioner Perez? Commissioner Perez. Thank you.
She is. There we go. Okay. Now, on to the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you could join me with the Pledge of Allegiance as we begin this meeting. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Okay. Next, we're going to go to public meeting or public comment. This is for items that are not on tonight's agenda, but might want to be addressed by the commission or put on record. So tonight we'll be doing that one of two ways. Either the phone number dial-in of 916-774-5353, or you could also email at publiccomment@roseville.ca.us. So if you could let us know if any comes in, and we'll give it a few minutes here for people to respond to that.
At this time, we have no emails or no phone calls for public comment.
Okay. Okay, I think we go ahead and close public comment at this point. There'll be other opportunity on the actual agenda items later in the meeting, but this was just for the general public comment for things that were not on the agenda. Okay, going to move on to the item 5.1, which is the recommendation for the youth commissioner. So I can take that item. So this is a great opportunity we have to be able to have a youth commissioner to be able to support the activities here within the city of Roseville, as well as be able to give some experience to youth that might be interested in opportunities to be able to serve in the community, as well as get some experience themselves in regards to this types of forum. We had 4 applicants that applied for youth commissioner positions. And we had interviews that were held via Teams on November 19th and 20th. And through that process, we had some very talented and energetic applicants. But the one that we selected as a committee was that Jenna Brashear would be the youth commissioner for the 2021-22 funding cycle. And I think that she's going to do a great job of being able to support the efforts that we have going forward, as well as getting the experience she needs to move forward. So any of the commissioners who are on the subcommittee have any comments that you would like to share in regards to that interview process? Commissioner Perez or
I would like to welcome you to the commission, Jenna, and we're looking forward to working with you this year.
Okay. Michelle?
Yes,
Okay.
welcome, Jenna. And I have to tell you, we had an impressive group interview, and we've got some wonderful youth out there. I'm excited to have Jenna join us this year.
Right. So I'm excited to have you on board, and we'll do our best to be able to keep you engaged in this process. Makes it a little bit more difficult now that we're all doing everything remotely, but we'll try to keep that in mind as we move through our agendas, as well as our processes as we're reviewing applications and making our recommendations. So, Jenna, at this point, is there anything that you would like to say before we take action to actually include you into the as the youth commissioner?
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you so much for including me in the Youth Commission. It's something I'm really looking forward to participating in. I'm really excited.
Okay, well, we're excited to have you on board, and thank you for your interest in this, and we're confident that you're going to get something out of this and some experience. So thank you for participating and pushing to be a part of this. So at this point, I'd entertain a motion to have our youth commissioner put in for this coming grant cycle year.
Commissioner Perez, I'd like to make a motion to include Jenna on our commission.
Okay. Can I get a second?
I, Dawn Haywood, will second.
Okay. At this point, let's all in favor signify with aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. And Jenna, welcome aboard.
Welcome, Jenna.
Okay. Next, we have item 5.2, which is to approve the meeting minutes from the November 10th Grants Advisory Commission meeting. Open for discussion. So So the meeting minutes that were provided on the agenda, does anybody have any comments? I just had a couple that I noted. I think it was in section 5 of the presentations. The first item that we had was the approval of the October 13th Grants Advisory Commission meeting minutes. I think in that action, it refers to the November 10th meeting minutes as being approved. So I think that was just a date item that needed to be adjusted.
I'll make that change and resubmit.
Okay, besides that, everything looked fine to me. It reflected the meeting that we had that evening. Okay. Any other comments, questions, corrections?
I can make a motion. This is Commissioner Carroll. I can make a motion to approve the minutes as with the suggested edits.
Entertain a second. I see that for
Commissioner Gibson, second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries. The minutes have been approved then as amended. Okay, moving on. Presentations, requests. We're now on item 6.1, which is the meat of tonight, which is really the applicant workshop, and we're getting ready to go on that. So I guess I just start on this one. So welcome to the Grants Advisory Commission Grant Workshop. We are happy to be here. I am Ed Kriz, the chair of the Roseville Grants Advisory Commission. So the purpose of this workshop is that we want to make sure that the applicants understand what funds are available, how to apply, and highlight what's new this year, and most importantly, answer your questions. Now, before we get started on that, what we'd like to do is go through the script of the presentation, be able to look at the entire presentation, and then we'll address the comments at that point. There will be public comment at the end, both on the phone number, call in, or the email that was provided, and we will get to answering all of those as at the end of the meeting at the end of the presentation. So we'll just go through it like that. So to begin, we're going to put up a slide showing the summary of available funds. Our agenda tonight will cover the topics in this order. First, we'll provide an overview of each fund. Next, we'll go over the timeline and grant funding priorities for this year's grant cycle. We will review the online submittal process, highlight application thresholds and disqualifications, provide an overview of the application scoring questions and scale, the required document section, which we have revised this past year to reflect a recently completed community needs assessment or a needs analysis, and commissioners will provide helpful hints for the process. Then we're going to open it up to questions for the applicants. In order for most efficient use of our time, the chair and I will answer the audience questions or direct staff to answer. After all questions have been answered, commissioners will provide brief comments about this grant cycle and application process. So let me just jump right into the Citizens Benefit Fund. The Roseville City Council established a Citizens Benefit Fund in 1993 with the funds received from the sale of the city-owned Roseville Community Hospital. The City Council at that time voted to place the proceeds of the sale into an interest-bearing account and give 90% of the interest available annually to nonprofits for the purpose of improving the quality of life for the citizens of the city of Roseville. The remaining 10% is deposited back into the Citizens Benefit Fund to grow the principal. This year, the Citizens Benefit Fund has approximately $357,700 in funds available. The grants are being made available to 501c3, 501c4, and private school organizations. Nonprofits must have a current business license. Private schools and school-based nonprofit associations are eligible and are limited to one application per individual site. The Citizens Benefit Fund grant goals are to assist in improving the quality of life for the citizens of Roseville. REACH funds. Established in 2003, the city-directed employee charitable giving program is comprised of contributions by Roseville City employees, retirees, and local businesses. There are 1,634 estimated funds available. Same eligible organizations as for the Community Benefits Fund. Schools have the same restrictions as the Community Benefits Fund, with one application per individual site. REACH grants are to assist in improving the quality of life for youth, families, and seniors in Placer County. So, one application. Please note that applicants only need to submit one application and can request funding from both sources. If you're requesting funds from multiple sources to serve residents in both Roseville and Placer County, it would be very helpful to describe in your project description how those funds will be split. For example, you might say you're requesting $10,000 total, and that $8,000 will be used to serve Roseville residents, and $2,000 will be used to serve residents outside of Roseville in Placer County. Okay, at this time, Vice Chair Allison Carroll will now go over the timeline and the newly established grant funding priorities for this year's grant cycle.
Good evening, everyone. We're really glad you're here and looking forward to receiving your applications. I just want to walk through some important dates to remember for this funding cycle, and you should see those on the slide here. Applications must be submitted online via Zoom Grants by 5 p.m. on Monday, February 8th. And staff will review all the grant applications, ensure the required documents were submitted. Applications without all of the required paperwork will be disqualified. The Commission has a meeting on Tuesday, April 13th, at which time they will agree on funding recommendations. Funding recommendations will go to the City Council in May, and the grant checks will be awarded by this Commission at our meeting on Tuesday, July 13th. So the final reports, for anyone who has already received a grant from our commission from this past year, the final reports are due August 31st in Zoom Grants. So that's for the 2021 cycle, the money that went out this last July. And so anyone who is awarded a grant with this cycle, you'll have the following. So you'll get the check in July of 2021, and then the following August 31st of 2022. You also need to file in Zoom Grants the final report for that. So there is, we have established, and the City Council has approved some grant funding priorities this past year that we came up with following the community needs analysis. And so we have 3 different groups. And I don't know if there is a slide for this. Maybe go one more. No, okay. So let me just talk through them. Let's go back. We're going to talk about the scoring scale in a minute, but let's okay. So there's 3 what we're calling priorities: strategic one-time grants for innovative projects or programs. They could be capital improvements, new initiatives. Some examples: a new initiative would be a service need or opportunity in the community that could offer enhanced and improved quality of life or experience in Roseville. Innovative ideas based on models of other agencies or areas, attempting to take a new approach to provide an opportunity to enhance or improve the quality of life for people in Roseville. Or a one-time request, a special need or consideration. Sometimes this is a capital project or something like that. So that's one category. Again, strategic one-time for innovative projects or programs, capital improvements, or a new initiative. That's all one category or one priority. The second one is operational or missional support grants. And these are for projects or programs that have demonstrated effectiveness in addressing a community need. And if you apply for this category or priority, you could reapply in future years, whereas the first category, or priority, I shouldn't say category, is more kind of a one-time thing. And you may have questions about that, which we can address when we follow up here at the end. The third priority is for smaller requests of up to $10,000, and that can be for either a new program or project or to support existing operations. It's really just a carve-out based on the size of the request. And each of these three groups will be evaluating applicants within each of those three groups when we do our review. So I think at this point, I will turn it over to Tricia to talk about the online application submittal.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so like Chair Carol mentioned, I'm going to be going over the online application submittal. I believe there are a lot of you tuning in tonight who are familiar with our grant process, but just in case we have some newbies or anyone with follow-up questions, please feel free to email me questions directly. My email is tisom@roseville.ca.us. I believe it's on a slide later in the presentation. As Chair Chris mentioned earlier, we will have a public comment opportunity after this item concludes. And I believe the phones are a little bit busy tonight, so if you have the opportunity to email public comment at roseville.ca.us, definitely do that. If you aren't able to get your question answered tonight, again, you can email me. So there is a direct link to Zoom grants. It's the website. It's posted on the city's grants advisory webpage. All returning applicants must log in using their existing Zoom grants account, and all new applicants will be directed to create a new Zoom grants account. Applicants needing assistance with submitting their grant applications can contact Zoom grants directly at their toll-free number 866-323-5404 or by accessing the help key posted on their website. The Commission also revised the grant application and review criteria this past year with the goal of streamlining the process, as well as updating the scoring module that aids the Commission in the equitable evaluation of all applications. The committee put great thought into the relevance and applicability of each application question, the required documents, and the review criteria, rewording and deleting where possible. The review criteria for 2021-2022 Citizens Benefit Fund and REACH grant applications is available on the city's website, and we'll go over the highlights of the review criteria and required documents in the application next. So in accordance with the review criteria provided, the primary thresholds are: 1, the applicant has submitted all of the required application documents and has a current business license with the City of Roseville by the application deadline. And 2, the applicant has submitted required annual reports for the 2019-2020 Citizens Benefit Fund and REACH grant funding cycle, which was due August 31st, 2020. Applicants who did not apply or receive funds in 2019-2020 will not be required to submit this report. If the above thresholds are not met, the application is automatically disqualified. Staff will be reviewing the applications for completeness and making this determination. Staff will also notify applicants if their applications do not meet these primary thresholds. Chair Chris will review the application scoring next.
Okay, thank you. And I would like to also mention that the applications are actually open at this point. They opened on December 8th. And as Vice Chair shared, those will be due on February 8th. That'll be the closing of that time. So the next portion of the review, so then the modifications we made to the application scoring questions and the scale for the scoring, we made some changes to that this year also as a result of the Citizens Benefit Fund, the Community Needs Assessment. But the next portion of the review criteria is the application scoring questions and scoring scale. These will be used in the review and scoring of application. Each question is aimed at valuing how the application meets local needs and objectives for maximizing community benefit with these funds, particularly through community engagement, leveraging, and collaboration. The questions and scale are provided for you on this slide, and a copy of this PowerPoint is available online with this information for your reference. Okay, so you can see the scoring questions. The application demonstrates a need for program or programs. That would score for 15. And then on through, this is all self-explanatory as you go through that. A couple of the ones that are highlighted here: requested funds achieve an impact on the identified need, as well as application clearly describes how the collaborative partners increase the efficiency and efficacy of the grant. So that would be a total of 100 points as you went through that. So the required documents, okay, so that's basically the new scoring scale that we have, as well as the different categories for scoring this that we'll be going through with the applications that do qualify for these grant funds. With that, we can talk now about the required documents and the budget highlights with staff. So, Tricia?
You're on mute, Tricia.
I'm just talking away. Thank you.
It's a wonderful presentation.
Yes. So under the Documents tab in the grant application, there is a list of required documents that must be submitted as part of your application. I'm going to highlight the required document section now. So if a document is required, it is marked in the required column. If a document that is required does not apply to your organization for any reason, you must still upload a document. We want it labeled with an NA in front of the respective file name and have you include an explanation of why it is not applicable. If a document is not included, and if it's a required document and if it's not included and an explanation is not included indicating why the document is not required for your organization, the application will be deemed incomplete and disqualified. So that part is really important. Explanations don't need to be lengthy. For example, if you're awaiting a 501c3 status, just provide that statement and any accompanying proof of a pending application. Something very, very simple. If you're requesting grant funds for a capital expenditure or a property improvement, the program requires a total of 3 bids for individual items costing more than $250 each. It is very important for private schools and nonprofit schools to know that this rule applies to your organizations as well. We understand that schools often purchase items under larger contracts, but even so, 3 bids are still required. Just to dig into this a little bit deeper, if you're purchasing individual items, the required bids must be based on the cost of each item and not the project as a whole. So as an example, if you're purchasing a computer, a microphone, and a headset for each staff person, we would need 3 bids for each individual item being purchased. So 1 for the computers, 1 for the microphone, 1 for the headsets. So you can use the price of an existing contract as 1 bid, but you must also get 2 additional bids in order to ensure that the grant funds are being used efficiently. We do allow verbal and online bids. Those are totally acceptable. Assigned board authorization must be completed and uploaded for each application. Please do not substitute with another form. It is important that you use the template that we provide. And there's just a caution here for you to get started on requesting signatures early, as this could be a time-sensitive item for your board to complete if they don't meet monthly. Grant applications for organizations that are providing any therapy or counseling services must include their certification information that allows them to practice in the field, as well as include the number of volunteer hours being provided to that organization. Each organization is required to have a current business license on file with the city. Staff will confirm your organization's current business license after application submittal. And next, the commission will go over some helpful hints.
Okay, this is just time for us to spend a few minutes to reiterate a couple of points or reminders that will make completing your application easier. And my colleagues will also add any helpful hints they have for potential applicants after I walk through these. So you can, we mentioned this before, and it's on the screen here. You can access the application using the link on the city's grants homepage. The link takes you to Zoom Grants for you to set up an account or sign into your existing account. The grant application will automatically save when you advance to the next question or click outside the text box. You can access your incomplete application up until it has been submitted, but once it's been submitted, you can't make any changes. Most selections on the application have instructions. However, the system default is to hide the instructions. If you'd like to see the instructions, simply click on the show/hide instructions at the top of each section and they'll appear. And then I just had a couple quick things and then I'll open it up for the other commissioners. Zoom Grants, if you haven't had an account or if you have, I just really encourage you pay attention to the emails you put in there because we do use that to send out notices, not just necessarily while the grant application is being reviewed, but throughout the year. So like reminders of your final report that's due at the end of August and other things. So we've had in the past where someone had created the Zoom account and had their email address and, you know, the nature of nonprofits, sometimes the leadership changes and their email address was still in there. So reminders and other things were being sent, but the organization didn't really receive it. So just be careful when you're putting in email addresses that it's an account that you will check. I think that's pretty important. And then you can, if you want to go into the Zoom Grants application, see the instructions, see the questions, and put the application together offline. I don't know that it necessarily times out, but you could put everything together and then be copying and pasting it in if you don't want to keep the Zoom application open. And if you do need help with that, I think we had it up on the display before. It's the Zoom Grants help that we're directing you to. If it's just a general question about the process, then city staff can help. But if it's a technical question about Zoom Grants, you'd be going to the vendor who's doing that. So I don't know if any other commissioners have helpful hints that they'd like to share. Doesn't look like it. So, and then there may be some other comments that we have at the end or based on the questions that come in, we may have more comments there. So I will turn it back over to Chair Chris. Thanks.
Okay. So now is the time we could open it up to public comment. Applicants can use this time to ask any questions they have about the application process. And again, I'll remind you of the phone number. You could dial that in at 916-774-5353. Or you could email those questions at publiccomment@roseville.ca.us. And depending on the amount we get tonight, we will do what we can to process all of those comments. But if it's something considerable in nature, feel free to go ahead and email that, and we will get responses to those even if we don't get a chance to cover them tonight. So do we have any public comments at this point?
Chair Chris, at this point, we do not have any new public comment or emails coming in, no phone calls or emails, but I think we should wait just another 30 seconds or so.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh. Hang on, I think I'm getting one.
Yeah, just another note while we're waiting too is we didn't touch on this, but we do have new categories as well as a result of the community needs assessment. So if you've applied before, just be aware those have changed. You're only picking one, and then with the priorities, you're only picking one of those three. So those are some different areas that have changed from past years.
Okay. Chair Chris, we have a gentleman on the phone who would like to make a public comment, ask a couple questions.
Okay.
Tom?
Please introduce yourself and ask a question.
Tom, can you please introduce yourself and ask a question?
Yes. Hi, I'm Tom Stanko. I'm the president of Convention Hall here in Roseville. I've been working on the application diligently, and I had a question about number 18. It says, please list other funding received or requested for this project program.
Okay.
Okay, and your second question?
Well, the question is it for this current fiscal year or the fiscal year of the grant, or both?
I believe at this point it was for the period of the grant that will be covered. It's the grant period. Mm-hmm.
So for 2021.
Yes.
I believe it would be for fiscal year 21-22. That's our current grant cycle.
Okay.
Okay.
And your second question, Tom?
Well, it was an observation that there was no budget template for the program budget. When I went to that program budget sheet on Zoom, there was no template. There was a place to put discussion about it, but no template.
I guess that's a question to staff. Has there been one in the past, a budget template?
Yes. Yes.
Tom, staff can look into that and we can see about uploading one, but I believe it was a fill in the blank on a budget with the line items. So we can certainly look into that, but I thought the line items were still there on the template. Are you not seeing it?
No, there's nothing there, just a place to explain any discrepancies or budget narrative, I guess it's called.
Okay. City staff will look into that and we will update the grant application and we will email you the information.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Good night. Thank you for your comment, Tom.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Any additional comments, emails?
Yes, hang on.
Okay.
Chair Chris, we have a second caller.
Okay.
Ms. Smith, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Katie Smith. I'm with the Assistance League of Greater Placer. And my question, I have two questions. One is, can we call this number at any time prior to February 8th to ask questions as they come up?
Chair Chris, we have a second caller.
Okay. On this particular question, I do believe that this is just for the public comment, but I believe we want that call. If you have questions up to this point, does that go to you, Tricia?
Yes. So, Ms. Smith, if you could turn off your voice on YouTube, because we're getting a lot of echo. At this time, this is the phone call for public comment. If you have additional questions, you can contact Tricia Isom, and her phone number is 916-746-1239. Do you have any other questions of the commission? Ms. Smith? Hello? I think we've lost her.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. I do have an email comment that I can focus on right now. The comment is coming in from a Steve and Heather Wilson. Would it be possible to view the questions asked by others regarding this forum via your website? just in case someone has asked a question that is relevant to something that others forgot to ask.
Okay, and staff, how would you like to deal with that? I believe that this presentation will be up and available to watch, and you can just go to that segment of the presentation and actually get those directly on the video, unless you have another approach.
You're right, Chair Chris. We will have this. There's a portion of the PowerPoint tonight that wasn't shown yet. It shows how to get to our website and how to actually rewatch this exact meeting if people have questions and they want to rewatch it. So they can go to the Roseville website, go to agendas and minutes, I believe, and then search for the Grants Advisory Commission, and recent meetings. The videos for recent meetings are listed on our website, so they can click on the videos and scroll through. I'm not sure that any questions that are being asked tonight are being recorded by the secretary. I don't know that they'll be in the minutes, and I believe it was either one before or one after this slide right here, but that's my email. You can email me at tisom@roseville.ca.us. And then, yes, well, the link to the application is there, but there was another slide. Either way, we will, anyone can, yeah. Melissa, do you want to speak to the minutes and if the questions will be listed in them?
Yeah, I'll list the questions that have been presented so far.
Just a clarification, if something comes in after this meeting, though, I don't know, is there a way that we could distribute that? Like if people are emailing you directly or calling you directly after this meeting, but before the grant deadline?
To do like an FAQ or something like that, maybe on the web?
Yeah, I mean, because this was an email comment, I don't know if their intent was about these questions or about questions that come in after, because I think that would be the harder challenge, but I don't know if there's a way to deal with that. I don't think we have in the past.
But that would not be a public comment because it would just basically come in as a processing of the application comment, and that would be different than included in the meeting minutes or as a public comment for this item.
I agree, but that's, I think, what their question was about is, you know, if other people ask questions, they're just, I guess, wanting to know if they have access to that information, the answers to that.
Okay, so I guess I could leave that to staff to determine how that might be able to be handled, or if it's something to pursue.
Yeah, we can definitely look into that. If I get a whole bunch of questions, and we could probably try and develop an FAQ type document.
And then that would be available on the website.
On the Grants Advisory website.
Okay.
Chair Chris.
Yes.
We have Ms. Smith who's called back and had a second question.
Okay.
Ms. Smith, if you would like to ask your question now.
Okay, I apologize for the feedback the first time. My question is, I either heard you say or saw on the website that we can apply for one particular project that impacts residents not just of Roseville, but of Placer County as well. Is that correct?
Yes, so this is for Placer County, even though the funds specifically are for the betterment of the quality of life for the city of Roseville. There is support in the county organization that the Roseville residents do benefit from.
Okay, so do we have to state whether some of the beneficiaries of our project are residents of specifically of Roseville and others are Placer County? Do we have to differentiate?
So if you're requesting funds from multiple sources to serve residents in both Roseville and Placer County, it would be helpful to describe in your project description how those funds will be split. So yes, some idea of which ones would be going to Roseville residents as well as those outside of Roseville but still in Placer County.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Smith, do you have any other questions of the commission?
At this time, that'll do it. I'm sure more will come up as we get into the nitty-gritty of actually writing the application. But at that point, then we can email Ms. Isom. Is that correct?
Yes.
Or call her. You gave her our numbers.
Yes.
Gave us her number. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Chair Chris, I'd like to read a second public comment.
Okay.
This is from A Touch of Understanding. And the question is, given the nature of COVID and the fact that it has changed our program model, how should we best answer the question about expected number of individuals reached? We work with schools, and so the nature of our work is very uncertain moving forward. Guessing a number of students that would be reached is hard.
Okay. Yes, I would agree with that. COVID has caused a lot of problems for a lot of applicants in regards to funds that were received this past year, as well as funds applications. I would think that one way of addressing that is to give the estimate, but also qualify that with the understanding that COVID is creating an impact to the served population, and allow us to be able to understand how that is going to be dealt with. I think would be one way of being able to handle that.
Okay.
Any better way of being able to address that question?
I'll just chime in. This is Commissioner Lewis. I'll just chime in to say I agree with that. Just an explanation and is what, you know, maybe the challenges, the explanation of how you would meet them, that sort of thing. Just give us some indication, because we're certainly sensitive to the challenges that this does provide for the organizations that are applying. So yeah, it's something that we'll be very receptive to hearing and understanding.
Right. Any other commissioners want to weigh in on that, or staff? Yes, Commissioner Gibson.
Good evening. I think it's just helping us understand how you might modify your outreach and your model to address the issues of COVID and still be effective is probably what we're looking for in the explanation. Obviously, everybody's got to be somewhat fluid in the situation, but helping us understand how you're dealing with it and addressing it and still trying to make an impact is, I believe, what we'd be looking for.
Okay. And so do we have any additional comments, or did that one address appropriately for Ms. Smith?
I believe so.
Okay.
Okay. I do have another public comment from Louise with Stand Up Placer. On the comment states, on behalf of Stand Up Placer, thank you to the commissioners for your hard work this year and for including the local nonprofits in the needs assessment process. I do not have any questions regarding the grant process at this time. Signed by Louise.
Okay. Well,
we
thank
have
you.
Additional. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. I do have an additional public comment that came in via email, and it is from, let's see, Heather Wilson again, and it stated, thank you. I was hoping for an FAQ. My question is answered.
Okay.
And it appears that that is the last call and the last email. Public comment. Oh, wait, sorry. I just got another. All right. Another email from Heather Wilson. The comment reads, the subjects were strategic, operational, and question mark. Can we have the phone number for Tricia Isom again?
So the priority areas, the last one was small requests up to 10,000.
Right.
So strategic one time, operational mission support ongoing, and then up to 10,000 small requests for either type.
Right.
And the phone number for Tricia Isom is 916-746-1239.
Okay. I just wanted to add a little commentary in regards to including the nonprofits in the community needs assessment. Yes, that was a considerable amount of effort, and I do appreciate the consultants we had on board to be able to guide us through that effort. But the participants that were included in that did a lot of good work to be able to provide us the information needed to make the changes to the grants process to try to address some of the issues that we had. So it was a lot went on this past year. So we do appreciate their support and their effort also in helping us refine that. Okay, do we have any other public comments?
At this time, there are no other public comments via phone or email.
Okay. Well, I guess at this time, would it be appropriate to close, or should we just give it a little bit more time for people that might be formulating their thoughts?
I think it would be appropriate to close.
Okay. Okay. And I guess if anything comes in after this, we would include that in whatever FAQ type of response we would develop here in regards to some of the comments we received tonight.
Quickly make, Chair Chris, thank you. If I could just quickly make a comment for those with questions, if we want to do a good FAQ, it might be the best to email me at tisom@roseville.ca.us so I can make sure that we get the question answered appropriately, or that I write the question down appropriately. I wouldn't want to misinterpret anything over the phone. So again, my email, tisom@roseville.ca.us. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, email would make sure that it gets communicated appropriately. Okay. So thank you everybody for the questions, both email and comments over the phone. I'm now closing public comment and moving to commissioners for the closing comments. If commissioners would like to provide some brief comments to further assist our applicants in submitting the best application process, we'll now take a few minutes to do that. So any commissioners like to add to the discussion that we've had this evening?
Yeah, Commissioner List here. I say this every year, so I'm going to say it again to be consistent, and that is explain everything is clear. And this mostly goes for the folks who are maybe new to grant writing or have taken a little time off or something. Always explain as much as you can, as clearly and concisely as you can. As with any sort of writing, if you decide to have somebody else affiliated with your organization or whoever to look at what you've written to give you to see if it seems clear to another pair of eyes, that's always a good thing too. And try to avoid using acronyms without at least explaining them first. So if you say, advanced degree engineering and you put that as ADE afterwards, okay, we'll know that, but make sure you explain them if you're going to use them. That's it. Thanks.
Okay. Any other commissioners have any comments or tips? I for one, I'm looking forward to getting the applications this year, but also understand that we are everybody has been impacted greatly with the COVID and the restrictions and the sequestrations and all the stuff that's been going on. So, yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing what we're going to be getting, as well as being able to see what's going on out there in the community with our nonprofits, as well as how they've been impacted also. So I believe Commissioner Perez, you had something that you would like to add?
Not necessarily any tidbits of help, because this will be my first year looking at this, but I'm very looking forward to getting involved in the process. I did want to thank Laura Mattioli for her service, and welcome Tricia Isom, and thank you for catching the questions and sending them our way.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of behind the scenes that makes all this happen. So, other commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Haywood.
Yes, hello everyone. First of all, thank you to staff for all of your hard work. Laura, I've worked with you many years over the last several years, and welcome Tricia to you. I know that we are going to be in good hands. A couple of points that I just want to add on with respect to some of the questions that came up. With respect to the indication of who the funds are going to benefit, keep in mind, I mean, we've never really gotten into this nitty gritty, but just keep in mind if you are proposing a project or asking for funding for a project that covers both the city of Roseville and Placer County. Sorry about that. And that's, I think, the microphone side. It's really going to be important that your application really be specific. And I know this seems to be something that's pretty obvious, but we did have several applications last year that did not state the money was going to be used for the city of Roseville. And the reason I want to emphasize this is the funding maximum amounts are different depending on the grant you're applying for. So if you are looking for funding for the Placer County, the maximum grant amount is much lower than if you are going to be serving citizens in Roseville. So do be mindful of that. And as I believe both Chair Chris and Commissioner Liss commented, be concise and clear. We're lay people. We don't always know exactly what you do, even though we do. I'll speak for myself. I try to understand and research what you're doing, but we don't always necessarily know the nitty gritty of the program or project that you're applying for. So again, I just want to reiterate that. And then the question about the funding for, obviously this is a future grant, it's for a future fiscal year. So with respect to that, we really encourage you to include both funds that you've already requested, that may be multiple year grants, especially if you're applying for operating funds, but also any source that you're thinking about applying for. Again, it gives us an idea of the big picture of how, if we're not able to necessarily fully fund the grant, just so we have an idea of what other monies are coming in for the project, so that we again can be sure that that the monies, if awarded, are going to be used efficiently. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for those clarifying comments. Okay, anybody else have anything to add at this point?
I do, Commissioner Flynn here. Yeah, so I just wanted to extend a thank you to all of our nonprofit work that's being done in our organizations and our community. It's always a very humbling experience to read the grant application, and it's also very inspirational. And so I'm really looking forward, maybe even more this year than in years past, to just really center and get a sense of what's really important in our community, maybe more now than ever. So anyways, I just wanted to thank everyone for all of the amazing work that's being done out there in spite of the challenges and rising to the occasion to still support our community. Thank you.
Yes, well put, Commissioner Flynn. Well put. Okay. Any additional comments? Okay. I want to remind our applicants that tonight's workshop and a copy of this PowerPoint will be available to view online at the city's website. Also, from now until we make our final funding recommendations in April, our commissioners will not be visiting or touring any agencies. However, fundraisers and special events that are open to the public are fine to attend if they so choose. So that concludes the applicant workshop portion of this meeting. Thank you all of our applicants for participating tonight. We thank you for your valuable work that you do in the community and look forward to reading and reviewing all the applications that we anticipate getting. So thank you very much for that. Okay. We are now done with the presentation, the request. Now at this point, we're on to item number 7, which is board member, commissioner, and staff report. So staff, any thing to address at this point?
Nothing at this point. Thank you.
Okay. And commissioners have an opportunity to speak on anything? Okay.
Commissioner,
oh, yes. Commissioner Liss.
Oh, okay. Just really quick, thanking again Laura Mattioli for her help and guidance and work and enthusiasm. And I'm looking for, I know there's more because she's done such a terrific job. And we've had a pretty heavy lift in the last couple of years with both with what we've got going on here virtually, but also the community needs assessment and the redefinition of some of our ways of doing our process. So thank you, Laura. Thank you. And it's of great comfort that we are going into such a seamless transition with Tricia. So that I could not be happier with that too. So so I'm saying thank you. You're the best. Thanks so much.
Yes, I would want to highlight that also. Thank you for that. You took this on kind of the community needs assessment in midstream and were able to help us get through this entire process. And it's not like this is the only thing that you have on your plate. So I do appreciate the demands that were placed on you, but your ability to be able to guide us through this. So thank you, Laura.
You're welcome.
Oh, and also I would like to welcome Commissioner Bashir to our group here. This is going to be a very interesting and defining exercise, and I would have loved to have been able to do that at your age. They didn't have programs like that really, so this is terrific. We're happy to have you, and feel free to ask us questions of anything. It's a big job, but it's very, very rewarding because you get to give out money. You get to give money to deserving, and a lot of it to deserving organizations. So it's feel good all around. Some work first and then feel good. So good stuff. So welcome.
Okay. I believe Commissioner Flynn, you were trying to get in there.
I was, and Rob, Commissioner Liss said it all. Laura, I have so much respect for you and your work ethic and all you've brought over so many years to the Grants Commission in the city of Roseville. I just wanted a minute to recognize you and tell you how much I appreciate, and I think all of us appreciate your work as well as the city. So all of the residents of Roseville owe a lot to you. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other commissioners? And I was going to also, Youth Commissioner Bashir, welcome aboard. Part of this could be, what did I get myself into? But I'm confident that this experience is going to be wonderful for you to go through this. And I look forward to being able to work with you to get the most out of this experience without being overwhelmed, but still have an opportunity to participate, to engage, and to be a part of this process. And it'll give you a good foundation for what to expect as you get up to be a contributor on your own regard as you move into your careers. Okay. With that, any other comments? Let me get to the end here. It looks like that is now opportunity to adjourn the meeting. So I'd look forward to a motion from somebody for an adjournment.
Did Commissioner Bashir have something she wanted to say? I saw you wave your hand.
Oh, I didn't see her on my screen. So,
sorry.
Commissioner Bashir?
I just wanted to say thank you so much. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm really excited to come to the next meetings and stuff. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we look forward to participating in this with you and look forward to your contribution. And so didn't mean to cut you off there, but apparently I was excited about maybe an adjournment. So Zoom meetings, we love them. And given that, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a Commissioner.
Commissioner Haywood.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
And Commissioner Liss will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Hopefully they were on mute. Okay, so with that, the meeting is now adjourned, and thank you all for participating in tonight's grant workshop. And I look forward to seeing where we move into with our next meeting as we begin to discuss some of the other items in regards to the process. All right. Thank you very much. Enjoy your evenings and look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks, everyone.